plenty of others, and there were very good fiddle players around St Johnstone at the time. You know, the Paddy Douglas, John Douglas, George Peoples, and the place was full of music, full of music. Every house nearly had a fiddle hanging from the brace. You'd have maybe a range of Stanley number 8 range going, and a brace above it, and you could have maybe 2 or 3 fiddles hanging. Granny, I think, had 4 or 5 fiddles hanging above the brace. There's Matha Peoples. Matha was a legendary fiddle player, was apparently a fantastic bow hand. Arthritis, I think, put it into his fiddle playing later in life. Matha, a great fiddle player. I don't remember ever having heard him play. I have few enough memories of him. I think the last memory I have of Matha is him throwing his leg over a bicycle to cycle out of our street. And there was something about old men in those days. There were striking figures, you know. Now, Matha had fought with the British Army in World War I. And Matha came back anyway, and this fiddle had been among the people's collection in Kinny, you know. As people call it Kinny, but it's Kinny as how it's pronounced. That's another thing about St Johnstone. Often the place names, as we would pronounce them at home, are closer to the Irish way of pronunciation than the English, you know. So in Kinny, these fiddles hung above the brace anyway. One of the fiddles that had fallen into disrepair was the JT Lamy. And I didn't even know what this fiddle was, and I had taken, there was some fiddles that were intact and others that needed repair. And basically, some of them, most of the repairs were just to undo where they'd been glued, where the glue had decayed, and re-glue them. And anyway, it was John who repaired them for me. And John phoned me up. He says, that there's a fiddle there. He says, very good fiddle, he said. It's come up very well. He says, it's in single pieces, but they're all the pieces are intact, and he put it back together, and it's beautiful, Nick. And a JT Lamy made in 1912 in Paris, and I can figure no other way for a fiddle made in Paris in 1912 to have made his way to Kinny than maybe Matha had bought it with, maybe he'd passed through on his way back or something like that. But I thought it very interesting to that particular fiddle from that era make its way to St Johnstone so quick, you know.